Okay, next up is Mad Max 2, or as Warner Brothers want us to know it by, The Road Warrior, which is the US title. In Australia it's always been known as Mad Max 2. Good transfer, it looks really good, it looks as good as it's ever looked. There's some good special features on there as well. Definitely worth picking up, and hopefully now we can wait for a Blu Ray version of Mad Max, the original Mad Max, with some decent extras. Keeping in line with Mel Gibson, this time behind the camera, in Apocalypto. A pretty good film. You know, I mainly picked this up because I heard great things about the transfer and heard that it looked great and sounded great, and it certainly does. It looks awesome. There's some good special features on there as well. It's worth having, you know, especially if you want to show off your system. Put this on and it just looks great. That's Apocalypto. Another one of my favourite films of the last 10 years, Darren Aronofsky's The Wrestler with Mickey Rourke. I think Mickey Rourke was ripped off at the Oscars in 2009, with all credit to Sean Penn in Milk, but I think the Oscar should have gone to Mickey Rourke. This was just an amazing performance. He picked up the Golden Globe but missed out on the Oscar. But also Darren Aronofsky should have got a direction nomination, and the film should have been nominated for Best Picture as well. It's absolute, I just can't believe that it didn't. But it's an incredible film. I've seen it so many times. I love watching this film. You get so much out of it. And I hate wrestling. I really hate wrestling. Wrestling does nothing for me whatsoever, but I love this film. And it looks good on Blu-ray too. It keeps the grain and everything. It looks really good. Yeah, so that's The Wrestler. Okay, next up is Cameron Crowe's film of Almost Famous. This is the bootleg edition. An excellent film. Looks good on Blu-ray. Bit of a problem with the extras. There's bugger all on there. It's a real shame that Blu-ray, they haven't taken advantage of the Blu-ray and really loaded it up with extras, because if you're really keen on Almost Famous, I would forget the Blu-ray and I would go for the DVD, the UK DVD collector's edition. An absolutely fantastic set, great transfers. The film looks fantastic on the DVD. The first disc has the original theatrical version, and the second disc has the extended cut. I actually picked this up second hand, but it's in immaculate condition. I think I paid about $10 to have it delivered from the UK. Great bargain, and I virtually bought it for one scene, for one deleted scene. And if anyone knows about Almost Famous, they'll know that there's a Stairway to Heaven scene which was deleted from the film because of copyright reasons. And so what they've done is they've included the scene in its entirety on the first disc, but without the song. So all the dialogue and everything is there, and there's a little marker that appears on the screen telling you to, hit go on your iPod with your earplugs and to play the song Stairway to Heaven. So what you get is you see the scene as it was intended, but how it can be never seen virtually in the film. So I bought this for that, for that one scene, and I was rapt that it's a great scene, and it's a shame that it's not in the film. But yeah, like I say, if you like Almost Famous and you've ever thought about buying it, I would just go for this edition here. I'm not sure if it's still in print, but track it down. It's worth getting. It's a great set. This is how film should be presented. So yeah, the Blu-ray, although the transfer looks great, it's a little bit of a disappointment overall. Next up is David Lynch's, probably his most accessible film, The Elephant Man. Great performance by John Hurt. Also Anthony Hopkins and Anne Bancroft. The awesome black and white photography by Freddie Francis comes up amazing on the Blu-ray. It looks sensational. This is a book edition. That's just the paper that's come off the back. The book there talks all about the film. There's plenty of bonus features on the disc as well. Yeah, Samuel Barber's Adagio for strings on that in the final scene of this film. I just watched that scene over and over. It's just magic. David Lynch brilliance. It really is. Great film. Highly recommend this Blu-ray. I wouldn't bother with the DVD. I'd go straight for this Blu-ray. It just looks amazing. Next up is The Curious Case of Benjamin Button. Never saw this in the cinema, so I bought this on reputation. This is the 2-disc edition. I thought it's a good film, but not a great film. Some people love this and I'm really moved by it and all that. Just didn't grab me that much, to be honest. Like I say, I think it's a good film, not a great film. But it does look great on Blu-ray, I must admit. I was pretty impressed with how this film looks, and there's some great special features. It's loaded with special features on the second disc. And this is a limited edition set, numbered 985 out of God knows how many. But yeah, I mean, if you like this film, well then grab the Blu-ray, obviously. Next up, a good Tim Burton film, Big Fish. I've always liked this. It's quite moving. It's well acted. It's very Tim Burton. Everything about it is Tim Burton. Not as good as Ed Wood, my favourite Tim Burton film, but well worth a look. There's a audio commentary by Tim Burton on there as well. So that's it's Big Fish. 30th anniversary edition of Close Encounters. This is a great presentation. If you have any interest in this film at all, you've got to get this set here. It's got the original theatrical cut, the director's cut, and also the special edition. And there's coding on here to actually tell you what's different between all the versions, so you can see what scenes of are in certain versions and what have been taken out of other versions. Loaded with special features, as you can see there. Great set. There's a 60 or 80 page book or something in there as well. But yeah, great set. 2 discs. Well worth adding to your collection, that one. Umbrella edition of With Noel and I. I've got the DVD of this as well. This is maybe an acquired film for people. Some people love it and some people don't. Some people get it and some people don't. The special features from the DVD have been carried over onto the Blu-ray, which is good. And it does look better than the DVD, obviously. But yeah, that's if you're into With Noel and I, pick up the Blu-ray. Next up is one of the great music documentaries, I suppose you'd call it, or documents of an era. Very rarely does a film capture an era and a culture like this film does. It's just I've seen it so many times. It runs for nearly 4 hours, and I can watch it without taking a break. It's just an awesome film. I love it, really love it. And this set here is the 2-disc set. Inside there's books and replicas of a replica of Time magazine at the time, and all sorts of little memorabilia bits and pieces. But I have a little connection to the Woodstock Festival. I mean, I was only 6 years old or so when this was on, and I was in a completely different country, obviously, as well. But the anniversary of Woodstock is on my birthday, so the 15th of August is a special day for a few reasons. And I actually watched this on my birthday last year, and I intended to watch it over 2 nights, and I put it on and I just couldn't stop. Ended up going through to about 1 in the morning, and it's just it looks good on Blu-ray. It looks as good as it's ever going to look on Blu-ray, I think. Beautiful widescreen. The sound is, they've cranked the sound up and remastered it. Looks and sounds fantastic, so it's worth picking up. That's Woodstock.